education cuts.
Still coming down, it's just come past Piccadilly Circus, so there's still thousands of us on our way, so bear with us. Have we got Jamie?
I've learned a lot of things in the last year. This is someone who's pretty much taken an exam every year of my life. I've learned there are things that cannot be taught in mindless exams, chasing targets, pointless abstract assessments. There is more to be learned from getting together with people that care about other people, and that is what I have seen this year. I have learnt that this country is in a serious crisis. We are probably in one of the biggest political, social and economic crises in the last century, and we need serious change in this country. But what I've also learnt is that there is enough people like you, like your union leaders, like Jeremy Corbyn, who are willing to stand up and fight for the values in our society. Every single one of us in the public sector is watching the same thing. We are watching it get suffocated of funds, we are watching them get dismantled, and we are watching them getting sold off to corporations and banks, and every single one of us is paying for that. This has to stop, and we will do this together. Thank you.
My name's Paulina Blackstock. I'm from the John Roan School. I'm a full-time student. Teacher, not student of life. This year we've had a turbulent year. It's been difficult. Our school was told that we faced a projected 4,000 and 38,000 deficit. We were told by the then head teacher that unless restructuring occurred and 20 staff members were cut with a pared down curriculum, that our school would face all forms of different changes. I, myself, with many colleagues, was faced redundancy. What we decided to do in our union was challenge this decision. We worked tirelessly with some exceptional parents and the community to claim back our school. Roan Resists was formed, and we launched a campaign that said no to job cuts, no to restructuring, and no to excessive workload, no to a regime of constant monitoring. We said no, people, and it made a difference. We're supporting this national action because we know if this white paper is introduced, it means an annihilation of our pay and conditions. In Greenwich, an estimated 12% cut in funding means budget cuts and cuts to the education provision itself. That means less teachers and greater class sizes. It means less resources. We're saying no to an agenda that's squeezing the creative life out of our communities, our teachers and our students. We're saying that we plan to take action so we can leave a legacy for state education for the next generation and the generation to come. This white paper is part of the Germ agenda, and it's a profound attack on all public services. That's a threat to all staff employed in all schools. It doesn't matter whether you're in an LA, an academy or a free school. We're all fighting the same fight. We're fighting for the security of maternity rights, sickness pay, redundancy agreements, annual hours, contact time, pay progression, as well as ensuring we're not worked to death. Brothers and sisters, we've got one message, and one message alone for Nicky Morgan. Enough is enough. We're drawing a line in the sand today, Nicky Morgan, and we're saying no, no more. We're going to decree and we're going to declare this white paper, we're going to outlaw it. We're standing together to give a message that says enough is enough. We want our terms and conditions protected. We want to ensure that we leave a legacy for our comprehensive education for the next generation. And we'll continue to the fight until we get what we deserve.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Today, I want to thank you for being here. It matters. It matters that you have made a decision to stand up and to fight for our education service. I want to thank the junior doctors who around the country have been out supporting us. Thank the other unions, Unite, GMB, Unison, who've sent us messages to support. I want to thank the PCS and the Fire Brigades Union. I want to thank the SNP. I want to thank Labour. I want to thank Lucy Powell. I want to thank Angela Rayner, the current Secretary of State for Education, who are speaking up for education. But most of all, no, before I get to most of all, I want to just repeat the thanks that Alex has just given. The thanks that my personal thanks to Christine Blower, who I'm now trying to stand in the shoes of. So thank you very much, Christine. And I want to say thank you to the choir. But most of all, I want to say thank you to parents, because we have received thousands of messages from parents today. There are parents who are on this demonstration with us. There are organisations of parents. An organisation, Let Our Kids Be Kids, that organised a kids' strike over the SATs. They have sent us a message of support today. Rescue Our Schools, which is going to be our next speaker, another organisation of parents that developed around the campaign about the white paper, that have sent us messages of support. We know we need parental support, and we know that while our action legally and in truth is about teachers' conditions of service, we know that it's absolutely about the quality of education as well. We are defending education in the action that we're taking. I want to say something about truthfulness. Last week we wrote to Nicky Morgan and we laid out what it would take for us to call the strike off today. We said they should guarantee to us that they were putting more money into education. She wrote me a letter on Saturday. I think that was a calculation. I think they wrote it on Saturday because they thought we wouldn't get it, we wouldn't open it, we wouldn't react to it. But we had a press release out to the press that afternoon. In that letter, she says that they are real terms protecting the school budget. And I want to say that is intentionally deceitful. And that means that I'm calling Nicky Morgan a liar. She is intending to deceive the people of this country. In the same way that people on the other side of the EU referendum, when Gove and Johnson stood in front of a banner that said £350 million a week for the NHS, those politicians intended to deceive. They intended to deceive. And we have to say there are huge cuts to school budgets. The Institute for Fiscal Studies says an 8% cut. The way I'm explaining it to parents is they're freezing in cash the money they give to schools per pupil, and they are taking more money away in national insurance and pension contributions. For every 20 teachers that a school employs, it has to find a whole salary out of frozen resources to give back to the Treasury, and that is the truth. Nicky Morgan's statement that there is real terms protection is a lie, and I tell you the consequences of this are real. We are hearing of class sizes going from 30 to 35 in September. We are hearing of art, dance, drama teachers being made redundant. We're hearing of schools where there is no drama, where there is no art room, where there is no dance. And this is so bad for our country as well as for our children. We are hearing of support assistants being sacked in schools around the country, losing support for our children. And I say we fight back. We fight back against those cuts to our education service. And I say that there's places to get money from. Labour's estimate is that to academise every school in the country will cost £1.3 billion in lawyers' fees. Let's not spend that money. Let's have that for children's education. And I tell you, somebody's referred to this already, the SATS results. The huge decline in the results this year. Nicky Morgan says you can't compare year on year. I say they messed up the test big time. They have led to a disaster for our children in primary schools, and that's another place where they could save some money. So that was on truthfulness. I want to say something about timeliness, because some people have said that we shouldn't strike right now just after the EU referendum. And I tell you, as Acting General Secretary, I gave thought to that. Was that the right thing to do? Should we have paused? So we considered it, and I tell you, it's absolutely the right thing. Yesterday, George Osborne said that he was going to have a huge cut in corporation tax. Where is the money going to come from for education unless we speak out for it? And I tell you, we are hearing stories of an increase in racial tensions following the EU referendum. And I want to say, and I think this is part of this demonstration, there are class sizes going up. That's true. It's not because of immigrant children. It's because this lot are not funding our schools well enough. And we stand up for those immigrant children. We stand up for the EU teachers who are working here, teaching our children. We want them to stay in our country. So it's right for us to strike. And I'm saying, looking forward, this demonstration is not the end. This one-day strike is not the end. We are going to carry on this campaign. We want parental support. We're getting parental support. We want some political support. We're getting it, and I think we'll have more speakers that will tell us that. But we can't think that the government is just going to roll over. We are going to have to look deep within ourselves. The other teachers are going to have to look deep within themselves. We are going to have to take more action if we are going to defeat this government on the question of what's happening to our schools. And when we see these cuts in September, I think there will be another round of feeling that we must act. So I'm saying, and it's not a pleasant message, this campaign isn't over. It carries on. We are fighting for education. We're fighting for the soul of our education service in this country.